Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
We are staying on top of breaking news at 6. The family of a person shot by Durham police overnight says he is 16. This happened overnight in a Food Lion parking lot. Police were on the scene investigating into the morning. WRAL's Carly Haynes is live on Hope Valley Road, where this played out late last night. And Carly, what else have family members told you?
Julian, 2 separate family members, including the boy's father, confirm that he is just 16 years old. They say he's already had to get surgery after they say he was shot in the back. But they are grateful that he is doing okay. He's alive. We got surveillance video from a local business that showed the events that unfolded overnight. Take a listen. Now, what you just heard were gunshots and then cars speeding off. This happened just after midnight. We know that the person who was shot is still in the hospital recovering. That's according to his family members. WRAL's Laura Levine was at the scene earlier today. She tells us what police say happened here. Here in this Hope Valley Road shopping strip, you can see tire and skid marks all across the parking lot. Now, when Durham police attempted to break up the street racing happening here overnight, well, that's where the situation escalated pretty quickly. It's business as usual for these Sunday grocery shoppers. However, Saturday night, things were far from calm.
Kind of jumped outside to see what was going on and then heard a bunch of sirens.
Alexander Harris lives nearby and tells me it sounded like 20 to 40 police vehicles passing by his neighborhood.
I was a complete shock. I honestly thought it was something to do with a high school football game or something like that. That's the only kind of noise you hear around this area.
Police say they were initially responding to reports of a car club street racing in the area. Chief Patrice Andrews, in an early morning news briefing, describes what happened next.
Objects were thrown at the officer while he was in his vehicle.
She says the officer confronted the person who then began to run. A brief chase played out in this parking lot. That's when Andrews says the suspect pulled out a handgun and refused to drop it.
The suspect then at some point raised the handgun and was then shot by the officer. The suspect continued to flee and got into a vehicle that was in the parking lot.
Broadcastify radio traffic indicates the first shots fired call went out only about 10 minutes after police initially arrived at the scene.
Gunshot wound. 4711 Hope Valley Road.
The officer who fired the shots was able to give a description of the vehicle. Another officer in the area stopped the vehicle and aided to the suspect while waiting for EMS. This situation has some like Harris concerned about the popularity of unsanctioned car events getting closer and closer to their communities.
It shouldn't really be something that's too close to a neighborhood because car shows and meetups and races are always one thing extremely loud and dangerous.
For WRAL News, I'm Laura Levine in Durham. Now, police tell us the suspect is stable, but we don't know his exact condition. The SBI is investigating this, and that officer is on administrative duty. That's standard procedure when something like this happens. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Durham.
That investigation will continue. Well, NC Central University's chancellor says the school will investigate a fight that broke out between football teams after Friday night's game against Howard University. Her statement today is the first response we've heard from the school following the fight. Let's take a look at it. Chancellor Carrie Dixon said in part, the altercation is not only deeply disappointing, but also stands in stark contrast to North Carolina Central University's core values. Such disruptive behavior is unacceptable, and we are committed to conducting a full investigation and taking appropriate disciplinary action to ensure accountability. The Mid-Eastern Atlantic Conference is also investigating the fight. Now, the game was nationally televised on ESPNU. Coaches and Durham police can be seen trying to separate the teams and all of that chaos right there. Now, NC Central head coach Trey Oliver is expected to hold his regular news conference tomorrow. Now, WRAL will ask him about the fight, including if there will be any disciplinary action taken. A banner currently on display on East Franklin Street in Chapel Hill has outraged a number of people in the Jewish community. We're talking about these banners right here. There are 3 banners hanging from the old post office building at the Peace and Justice Plaza. They're called the Power of Good Trouble. The banner on the right shows a person wearing a keffiyeh. That's a traditional headdress worn in the Middle East. The artist calls it, quote, the image of a graduate adorned in their blue cap and gown, defiantly protesting. Some people are interpreting that symbol as a symbol of Hamas and are calling the banner offensive to the Jewish community.
I was appalled, actually, because the equation of, I was around for some of the student protests. I heard what they said. I heard the accusations that they make and the slogans that they chanted. And they were supporting violence, erasure of Jewish identity, and violent.
We've reached out to the town of Chapel Hill for a comment on the banner. We are waiting to hear back at this hour. A Charlotte area home exploded this morning. The blast was felt for miles and left 2 people hospitalized with severe burns. First responders found the Union County house with the roof partially blown off and all the windows blown out. Neighbors say they weren't sure what was happening when the explosion happened just before 9 o'clock.
The whole house just shook. I've never felt anything like that. Thought something like landed or crashed in the backyard, immediately ran outside, and we saw smoke. My neighbor and I saw smoke like billowing out. We're all checking our houses now because, yes, a couple of our neighbors directly across the street have experienced broken windows.
A man was airlifted to the Wake Forest Burn Center in Winston-Salem, and a woman is now being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators are still working to figure out what caused the explosion. North Carolina's senior U.S. Senator, Republican Tom Tillis, could be facing intense scrutiny. That's as the GOP navigates Donald Trump's presidency and controversial cabinet appointments. Tillis is up for re-election in 2026. He'll have to balance loyalty to the Trump campaign while appealing to the GOP moderates in a potentially Democratic-leaning election year. His history of bipartisanship efforts such as on gun control and LGBTQ rights has already alienated some conservatives, leading to a censure by his state party. Potential challengers include Trump-aligned figures like Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. Democrats eye strong candidates like Governor Cooper or Representative Jeff Jackson to flip the seat. Now, Tillis' stance on divisive issues and Trump's nominees, including RFK Jr., could shape his political future. Analysts predict a tough road ahead for Tillis, requiring careful navigation of both primary and general election challenges. You can read more on this story at WRAL.com right now. The CDC is warning, a big warning, about a new outbreak of E. coli that has killed 1 person and made dozens of others sick across several states, including right here in North Carolina. This outbreak involved bagged organic carrots that are sold at major retailers, including Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and Wegmans. The whole and baby carrots are sold by Grimway Farms are believed to be at the center of this outbreak. That's according to the CDC. Now, the carrots are no longer in stores, but the CDC is warning people not to eat recalled bagged carrots and to throw away any carrots that fit in that description. There have been several E. coli outbreaks in recent months. In October, more than 100 McDonald's customers were sickened by an E. coli outbreak leaked to slivered onions. Lettuce and walnuts have also been at the center of outbreaks this year. A new report on tourism in Wake County shows the industry is booming.
People are looking for unique experiences, and I think we continue to deliver on that.
Just ahead, why officials say even the loss of the famous Bluegrass Festival next year won't keep people from visiting. Also, take a look at this map. Why it shows there's still a lot of work to do to get roads repaired in western North Carolina after Helene. Anthony.
And Julian, it's going to be a chilly night for us, with temperatures mainly in the 40s across the area. We do have 70s to start the week, and then some big time changes headed this way. We're going to talk about our next front coming up.
Here's a nice look at Cary Park right now, all lit up. Just celebrated 1 year of its existence. People are so happy to be around that park. Well, welcome back. A Raleigh organization known for tackling human trafficking, housing, and food insecurity is looking to expand its reach. The SHIP Outreach and Community Center distributes 50,000 loaves of bread to families in need a month. while also providing safe housing and resources for women escaping human trafficking. The center would like to expand its current location in Southeast Raleigh and provide more resources for women in need of help. Now, the founder of the SHIP, Pastor Chris Jones, says many are unaware of the human trafficking issues impacting the city.
I had a gentleman that came down and visit with us and lived in Raleigh his whole life. And when he came down and visit, we had some clients, and I was sharing with him a little bit about the clients. And he immediately wrinkled up his face and said, I didn't know this happened.
Tonight after the football game, we'll have more on how the SHIP outreach is making a difference right in our community. A new report highlights growth and resilience in Raleigh's tourism industry, even though the city is losing a major festival next year. This is pretty exciting. Now, Visit Indy and Visit Raleigh's Executive Vice President Lauren Gold says the city has seen year over year and quarter over quarter growth in visitation. Events ranging from pop culture conventions like GalaxyCon to youth sports tournaments and business conferences have brought significant economic benefits to Raleigh. But this was the last year for the International Bluegrass Music Association to host its annual conference and festival in the city of Oaks. It's moving to Chattanooga next year. Now, Gold says the organization Pinecone has stepped up to create a new festival for 2025, and it will build on the legacy of IBMA while featuring additional types of music.
They're rolling out a program in 25 that I think will initially be the same footprint of what we saw for the street festival with the various 5 to 6 music stages right along Fayetteville Street. I think we're going to see some of the traditional bluegrass that we've seen for many years, but I think it's exciting thing about the festival is Pinecone represents other genres of music, blues, gospel, and a variety of different things. So I think the music genre is going to open up, and I think we're going to attract some new crowds because of that.
Gold says tourism continues to drive hotel occupancy, restaurant traffic, and economic growth across the region. There are more than 137 events already on the books just for next year. Those include the NCAA basketball, major youth volleyball tournaments, and a gaming and esports tournament. Now, the long-term goal is to increase visitation from 18.5 million to nearly 22 million annually. I believe we can do it. Well, crews in western North Carolina are still working to make repairs to roadways more than a month after Helene devastated the mountain region. This map from the NCDOT shows all the hazards and incident reports and road closures still active in the aftermath of the storm. The department released a video about the ongoing work to repair I-40 through the Pigeon Forge River area.
And this is our home, and we want to do a good job and get these roads repaired as quickly and as efficiently as possible because we're here to, serve the people of North Carolina. You start thinking about length of roadway and scope of failure, it's a little daunting, but I'm confident we as a DOT can handle it.
Now, the NCDOT Division 14 engineers says the plan is to have 1 lane westbound, 1 lane eastbound, and split them at the tunnels. A reminder, Interstate 40 from mile marker 7 to the Tennessee line is still closed to all traffic. Crews hope to have some lanes reopened by early next year. Kick off the holiday season with a WRAL tradition that's been running for more than 50 years. That's right, 50 years. It's the 80th annual Raleigh Christmas Parade. Join us live next Saturday, November 23rd for dazzling floats, festive music, and a spectacular Santa finale. All of this, all fun, unforgettable holiday fun starts at 9 a.m. I'll write that down and get ready. Anthony, it was a nice, calm, chill day today.
It was, yeah. And Julian, thankfully, looking ahead to next weekend for the Christmas parade, it's looking really good, which we'll talk about here in just a second. We get us outside, though, this evening. It is definitely going to be another chilly night for us, but not quite as cold as where we were waking up this morning. We had frost advisories, and we do not currently have those, and I don't expect that to be a big issue for us tonight. Here's our live look, though. Our Durham camera, you can see everything's nice and still. It's a little bit cool, though. 56 is where we sit in Raleigh and Durham. 50 currently in Roxborough, 49 there in South Hill, upper 50s for a place like Fayetteville. Our temps tonight, though, get down into the, let's say, low 40s to the north, basically the mid to upper 40s from the triangle to the south. And we have a few clouds, but for the majority of us, we're going to be waking up with a lot of sunshine. A beautiful start to the week headed this way. If you like temps in the 70s, if you like lots of sunshine, that's what we're looking at here for our Monday. And I will say, if you do enjoy this kind of weather, make sure to get outside tomorrow, take a walk, take a break from work, or just enjoy it. This is not going to last long here as we head into our extended forecast. We have a front that's going to come through, and it's still on track to come in probably late Tuesday night into Wednesday. And what it's going to do is bring some rain chances, and then as the name implies, a cold front, it's going to bring some much colder temperatures into Thursday and Friday. It looks like the best rain chances would be probably during the first half of Wednesday and late Tuesday night. It's not a big organized system as far as a lot of rain, a lot of moisture, but I do think that potential for a few light showers still is there for us. Here are our temperatures, though. Look at where we are headed. We should be at 63 for this time of the year. We're going to go to 70 on Tuesday. This is jumping ahead a couple days. Still 70s tomorrow, 71 on Wednesday. We go all the way down there into the 50s, potentially low 50s on Friday. It will be windy behind this front. It will probably feel, especially there on Friday, potentially in the upper 40s and low 50s. Again, for high temperatures. So that's where we are headed. Looking ahead to next weekend, though, look how nice this forecast is going to be. Very seasonable, very festive. 44 for the Christmas parade Saturday morning. We're talking winds out of the west at about 10 miles an hour, so not too breezy. It looks really good. Probably going to want the sunglasses, a lot of sunshine, and I don't see any big organized weather systems bringing rain. Certainly no snow anytime soon. Just looking pretty settled next weekend. Here's an update on the tropics. This is our lone system that we continue to track. It's been kind of hanging out there across the Yucatan over the past couple days. It is now tropical depression, Sarah, so it has weakened. Winds are down to 35 miles an hour. There's the Yucatan. Cancun is up there in that direction. It's kind of crossing the Yucatan. It is likely to still fizzle out here as we head into tonight and early tomorrow morning. What it's going to do beyond that, though, is bring some of that moisture kind of funneled up with that front that's going to come through. Those two are going to combine and bring Florida actually some much needed moisture, not a hurricane. So that's very good news. It's just going to be some tropical moisture headed that way. Here is our forecast. So 70 on Tuesday, 71 Wednesday. There are those rain chances coming in. And Julian, we see that pattern flip into next weekend in the 50s.
All right, thanks, Anthony. Lewis joins us now. Lewis, there's so much football to choose from, but can't forget about basketball as well.
No, you cannot, Julian. In fact, I love true road games in college basketball before the calendar turns. NC State and Duke women's basketball playing in different time zones today. Coming up, the Wolfpack had a huge fourth quarter comeback. How did it end? It's called a tease. Stay tuned. In case you missed it late last night, the Tar Heels beat Wake Forest, picking up win number 6 and locking up bowl eligibility. Marion Hampton continues to be very, very good. 35 carries, 244 yards, and a touchdown in the fourth quarter. This Carolina team is tough to figure out. 3 straight wins to start the season, followed by 4 straight losses. And now look at that, 3 straight wins. Head coach Mack Brown said he's proud of how the Tar Heels have turned things around.
For this team to have been in such a hole, very few teams, in my estimation, could have come out of this. And that means they've got great character. You can go down and just quit, and you got plenty of excuses. And they didn't do that. They kept their head up, they kept fighting, they kept competing, and I think that's why they're so proud tonight.
UNC's final 2 games are at Boston College and then home against NC State. Speaking of NC State, the Wolfpack women on the road at TCU, trailing Haley Van Lith & Co. by 12 in the fourth quarter. But here comes NC State. Isaiah James drives, kicks. Madison Hayes, nylon 6-point game. Same score. Check out this pass from Sanaya Rivers to James. More like Phillip Rivers, am I right? James had 27 points coming off the bench. 5-point game. Zoe Brooks with a grown drive. Less than a minute left. James passes up to Brooks. Whoa, a move, another one, pulls up. A 1-point game. TCU tries to inbound. NC State forces the steal. James for the lead. No good. Final possession. 3 seconds left. 3-point game. Draw it up for Isaiah. Pulls up. No good. NC State falls on the road, 76-73 the final. I'm thinking TCU will be in the top 25 come Monday. Duke women's basketball playing South Dakota State on the road. The crowd was raucous in Brookings. Duke up 8 at halftime. Jackrabbits cut into it. Emily Fox to Haley Timmer on the fast break. It's a tie game. End of the third quarter, up to freshman Toby Fournier. Go to work. A heave. Bank is open on a Sunday. Cash that check. Blue Devils up 4 going into the fourth. Vanessa De Jesus missed all last season with injury. She's back, and she's making plays. That's a 3. Ashlyn Jackson now running the point. Drive, spin, finds Jaden Donovan. The fadeaway falls. 2.5 minutes left. Jackson and Donovan again. A little slip screen action. Bounce pass, reverse layup. Donovan finishes with 23 points, 15 rebounds. Duke holds on, 75-71 the final. For the 15th time in the past 16th season, UNC field hockey is heading to the Final Four. North Carolina beat Duke 3-0 at Karen Shelton Stadium Sunday afternoon. ACC Offensive Player of the Year Riley Heck scored 2 goals. It's UNC's 28th Final Four appearance. It starts on Friday in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Peyton Wilson having a good rookie season with the Pittsburgh Steelers, making plays just like this. What's going on here? Is that a turnover? An interception against reigning MVP Lamar Jackson? Watch the replay. He rips the ball from Justice Hill. My goodness, Steelers win this one 18-16, a classic AFC North score. And finally, tune in at 7 for Football Night in America on WRAL. Sunday Night Football tonight, the Los Angeles Chargers host the Cincinnati Bengals. Kickoff is at 8:15. Big AFC playoff implications for that one, Julian.
It will be. Peyton Wilson, wow, what a play.
Nice.
Phenomenal. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you later. Have a great evening.